Reading with your kids.
Hey, so great to see you. Come on in. Hi, my name is Jed Lee, and this is a special episode of the Reading with Your Kids podcast. We're coming to you from the beautiful neighborhood of Reedville in the southwest corner of Boston, Massachusetts. My guest today is one of my neighbors, one of my friends. His name is Ed Paris. I've known Ed for many, many years. He was my daughter's teacher in elementary school, and what a teacher he was. We also worked together presenting the school musicals. He's now the principal of an elementary school in the Boston area, and he's such an amazing educator. So much energy, so much creativity, so much love and passion for kids and teaching kids. Here's an important message right now for parents. Parents who are suddenly faced with the challenge and the overwhelming challenge of teaching their kids during the COVID-19 quarantine. Ed's message is important. It's an important message that I think will inspire you, and I think it will also put a smile on your face. Here's my friend, Ed Paris.
Hi, families. This is Principal Ed Paris coming to you from my mother's now backyard. You've now made it through another week of school closures. You've been at home. You've been working with your students for over 2 weeks at this point, and you really should be giving yourselves a pat on the back. I wanted to make sure that I came to you with some messages from an educator to families out there who might be feeling stuck in their homes, wondering if they're doing the right thing, and also exhausted. So here are some things I want you to remember. Number one, what you need to remember is the folks that I work with at school went to school for this for like a lot of years, at least 4 years, and some for 7 or more, to learn how to educate students. We learned how to make lesson plans. We learned what students needed and how to adjust our education for those students. We also learned how to develop lesson plans that gave us a breather so we could prepare for what was coming next. And you haven't had that training. Keep that in mind when you're doing these theme days and when you're busting yourself all day trying to come up with all these different lessons for your students to do. You don't have the training to do it, but you're doing a great job. Number two, when we're at school, we have colleagues right across the hall that we can run to. When students do something frustrating or wacky or something that is hilarious. I'm sure it's not your kid that would do something hilarious or frustrating, but someone else's student does something like, I don't know, farts in the middle of a lesson. We can run into the hallway or run across the hallway, and we can laugh about that with a colleague. Or we can say, can you believe this just happened? What should I do next? You don't have that. You just have yourself and hopefully maybe another adult in the house. Especially if you don't even have that, you're kind of at a disadvantage. So again, you're doing great. Number three, this is a big one. Teachers have me to send their students to when things start to really go off the rails. Sometimes students need a stern talking to. Fear works, people. You don't have me there to send your students to. I get that. And number four, most importantly, at the end of the school day, we get to send your students back home to you. You don't have that luxury. At the end of your school day, they're still there with you. That's gotta be hard. So listen, take this from me and all of the educators out there. You're doing great. Keep it up. And do what we all do at the end of a long week. Grab yourself a glass, pour yourself a glass of wine, grab yourself some chocolate, maybe just enjoy the quiet. And please, cheers to yourself for doing a great job and making it through another week. You're gonna do it again next week, and you're gonna be amazing at it. Cheers to you.
We hope you've enjoyed this special episode of the Reading with Your Kids podcast. Please be sure to subscribe to the show on the iHeartRadio app, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Podchaser, Himalaya, Stitcher Radio, wherever you find your podcasts. Please also be sure to connect with us on social media, Facebook.com/readingwithyourkids, Jedley Magic on Twitter, at Reading With Your Kids on Instagram. In addition to our regularly scheduled content, we're going to be producing a number of special episodes. Episodes for kids, episodes for parents, episodes for families to help get you through this quarantine time. I want to thank the folks who made today's show so very wonderful. Of course, I want to thank my guest, my friend, Ed Paris. I also want to thank my amazing team, my producer, Fatima Khan. I want to thank my author ambassador, Peggy Cotto. Hey, Peggy, she attended my virtual birthday party. She learned how to perform a magic trick. She performed it for her kids. I believe you can see the video is up on the Reading With Your Kids Facebook page. Check it out. It's adorable. I also want to thank my beautiful wife for all the support that she gives me, but most of all, I want to thank you. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us today, and thank you so much for taking the time to make the world a better place. And you do that every time you cook with your kids, you create with your kids, you go out on the sidewalk and make sidewalk chalk art with your kids. And of course you do that every time you read with your kids. I'll be looking for you in the next edition of the Reading With Your Kids podcast.